That child may be a Shasta daisy, but the big majority of those born under our hit or miss system of bringing children into existence and exposed to the casual and unguarded influences of our helter skelter system of rearing and education are New England ox eyes, or dull English daisies, or spindling, unlovely Japanese daisies. Are we willing to stop there? Or are we going to go on and, by selection, cultivation, thoughtful care, and by surrounding them with the highest and healthiest and best environments possible, work towards a race of children that will be the Shasta daisies of the human family? Someone has said that the way to reform a child is to begin with his grandfather. But I would prove to you that that would do no good unless you began with the grandfather when he was a child, repeated the process with his son, and then began early again with the same influences and the same program with the child in the third generation. Since beginning with your child's grandfather's childhood is impossible, the next best thing is to begin with the family, the home. Your home, for instance, it is only rarely that a child is better than his home influence. He may be smarter than his parents, or more successful, or more beautiful, but his moral strengths and his habits of life and his intellectual leanings will largely be those that he inherited and that he acquired or developed in his home. Since we cannot make the world over in a day, there is our point of beginning. Cease to think of your child as Mary or Johnny or Betty or Bill. Begin to think of it as the descendant of 1,000 generations that have made on it an indelible mark of tendencies, instincts, passions, ambitions, habits, and abilities or disabilities. This link in the long chain of your heredity is the forge and on the anvil of home environment. It can be molded, shaped, strengthened, or it can be left weak and full of flaws. It can be overheated until the component elements of its metal disintegrate, or it can be hammered and beaten and warped until it is ugly, stubborn, undesirable. Are you going to make a stronger link in the long chain or a weaker one? Love is the fuel for the forge. Good example is the most useful hammer in the rack. Right living is the anvil on which to shape the malleable metal. Where must you begin? In my gardens, I was able to begin with the seed, selecting it carefully to see that it was sound and free from impurities and from imperfections, and that it came from good heredities. Since we seem loath to forgive much scientific care and thought to the health and vigor and cleanness of the young people who marry in these days, we must take the little plant where we can. That is, when it is first above ground and ready to receive impressions. And for every impressions which a plant can receive, the child can receive 10,000. Food chosen by the use of reason and not by whim or caprice or laziness is the first requisite. Pure air, sunshine, clear water, happy surroundings, kindly words, firmness with justice, and the teaching of good habits, both by precept and by example, are all necessary. The healthy child has 1,000 times the opportunities and the possibilities of a sickly one. The child with clean habits and a gentle manner and a thoughtful way is infinitely better equipped to face the world than the child that is slovenly, badly bred, selfish, and vulgar. I heard once of a man who said to his little boy, "If you don't quit swearing at Nellie and slapping her, I'll knock your damned head off." I would scarcely recommend that as a motto to hang on your parlor wall, but it might be a good story to commit to memory. All life, and particularly all animal life, is sensitive to outside impressions. but the child is far and away the most sensitive organism in the entire planet, because it not only has instinct and feeling, as animals have, but it has the imitative, imitative power, the power to remember, the power to compare, and the power to reason. The child is like a diamond. I've said more than once, its many facets receive impressions as clear and sharp as etchings, but it has the added ability to be bent and changed and molded by those impressions until they become ingrained. Imagine, if you can, a diamond made of sensitized plates like those used in the finest camera, and then conceive of the infinite variety of pictures that are printed every day, every hour, on the plastic and impressionable mind of the child. You think he does not see that quick, angry gesture, or hear that sharp, ugly word, or feel the impatience in that push you give him, or understand that nasty allusion, or pick up that little slovenly habit. But you're wrong. All the pictures are there. Every time the lens clicks, there is a permanent record. It may be hidden away, or covered by others, or lost for a time, but sooner or later it will come to light, and your child's mind will see it, and your child's character will be influenced by it. And remember also what I have so often referred to as my process of fixing impressions on the plant, that is relatively non-sensitive when compared to a child. My process is repetition, 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 over and over, time and again, until the influence is strong enough from those repeated impressions to fix in the plant a new color or fragrance or shape or size or quality, whether in the fruit or in the flower. Your child, so much more sensitive and with so many more powers of absorption, may get an indelible and lifelong stain from one impression. If the same picture is printed again and again on his mind, it is certain to be as deeply fixed as though dyed there with the most permanent color known to the whole chemist's laboratory. Sometimes we marvel at the cleverness of children in seeing through people. Perhaps your own child has shown what seems to you a remarkable ability to pick out the honest and fine man or woman from the one who is weak or silly or bad. The fact is that this is one of nature's provisions, deeply impressed in the heredity of all life, to help the young growth to recognize its friends and shun and protest itself from its enemies. A day-old chick will cower or run from the hen's wings when a shadow is cast on it from above. The hawk fear is bred into the kitchen for 1,000 generations. A very young kitten, with its eyes just opened, will arch its back and spit at a dog. A plant will lean toward the sun as soon as it is above ground, just as it will droop and try to make itself smaller the moment a storm begins. No wonder your child sees through to the innermost character of people and things about it. It sees farther than that, too. It has an instinctive and penetrating capacity for reading motives and judging your actions not according to their appearance, but according to what is behind them. Doesn't your own child discern almost immediately when you are lying to it? Doesn't it recognize injustice in your dealings with it? Doesn't it know just how far it can go into bullying you or cajoling you? And do you think it does not realize its advantage when you have to bribe it to obey you? A lie to a child is 1,000 times more wicked than a lie to an adult, because the child not only sees through the lie, but it turns mimetically to lying as a useful and trouble-saving device. If you are unjust to your child, accuse it wrongfully, punish it unfairly, or show partiality toward a little brother or sister, you are doing a much worse act than you would be guilty of if an older person were involved. Because the child not only recognizes the wrong and suffers under it, but he stores it away for reference and employment later, and he has impressed on the sensitive plate of his brain the thought that here is another art to add to lying and deceit and the taking of bribes. To my way of thinking, the most serious offense against the child is that of ruling it or attempting to rule or direct it through fear. I would give a longer prison sentence to a man or woman who frightens a child with the policeman, a bogey, a ghost, a big black bear, or a big black dog than I would give a burglar, for the thief only steals that which can be replaced. But the parent or nurse who instills fear into a child takes away its most precious possessions, confidence and affection, and replaces those fine qualities with cowardice, mental and moral. I have the most complete sympathy for religion, and the deepest abhorrence of which I am capable for a living theology. I have the most complete sympathy for religion, and the deepest abhorrence of which I am capable for a lying theology. Weak or ailing, frightened or ignorant women, and innocent and trusting little children have always been the favorite raw materials of priests. Luckily, the day has already dawned when love and tolerance and a desire for righteousness are being substituted for fear and dread and falsehood and mummery.